Good evening. It's nice to see some faces in the house. Yeah. I'm glad you're here with us. So let us take a breath and welcome in Awakening Wednesday. Welcome in the divine power and presence of Universal Spirit. That not only being our name, but that also being the presence that is a spirituality that is all over this world. And that we relish in this divine awareness that there is only one family. And that family is the human race. It is the divine magnificence. Giving thanks and praise for that, we just settle in. And as we let that music turn off, we allow the light to come in. So just go to Linda's one and click off on that. Loving will save the world. We'll let it roll. Love, love, love everybody. Love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will save the world. So taking that in as we get ready to just step into the light. We're blessed to have a beautiful divine consciousness in the house with us tonight, Reverend Sherry, that will come forth and share the Diwali celebration, the connection, the awareness that spirituality is always one. So, I am the light. Well, all right, there we go. I am a light, I am the light, I am the light of this world. I am the light, I am the light, I am a light of this world, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so. Just let's take that in. I'm the light, I am the light, I am the light of this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light of this world. And we shine, oh we shine. Yes, we shine so bright. Oh, we shine. Ooh, we shine. And we shine so bright. The light, I am a light. I am a light of this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world, and I shine, oh I shine, yes I shine so bright, ooh we shine, yes we shine, Thank you, Reverend Sherry. That was beautiful. So hopefully the light of love is shining in your heart as we get ready to bring forth Reverend Sherry into this moment. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you.
And what a blessing it is to be here this night. This first time for me during COVID. So tonight we're going to explore the wonderful festival of light known as Diwali. And it's going to be an adventure in 3 parts. So we'll start with a video and learning about Diwali. Then we'll go into what Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, said about light. And then finally we'll close with a deep and beautiful meditation, bringing that light into our souls and into our hearts. So I greet and welcome you here and all of you who see the streaming either now or in the future. Welcome, welcome. Open your hearts to the light, and we are here. So let us just know and close your eyes if you will. And just know a blessing on this time, knowing that the light is always shining. The sun is always shining even when it's above the clouds and we see it not below. Know that the light of the divine is always shining, even with the clouds of our limited thoughts. Keep it from shining in our hearts, apparently shining. So we know that's not a truth. We know that the light is always there, illumining, lifting, giving us light and vigor and vitality. And so with this, I know this time is blessed and very blessed. And so it is. And we have our video.
Happy Diwali. Diwali, one of the most widely celebrated festivals. This festival, whose name comes from the Sanskrit word Diwali, meaning row of lights, is the celebration of Lord Rama and his wife Sita. As Lord Rama fought off the evil king and 14 years later brought back Lakshmi. It is the goddess of wealth. For the residents are so glad that the rightful king and queen had returned, they lit lamps in their homes in honor of this. And it is an element that is still in practice today. During this festival, people decorate their homes with lights and oil lamps called dayas. For the light within protects that which is the light without. Diwali takes place annually and lasts for 5 days, making the start of the Hindu New Year. The exact dates change each year and are determined by the position of the moon, but it usually falls between October and November. This beautiful celebration is celebrated by the Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, and some Muslims. It is celebrated in over 5 different continents. For many people, Diwali honors the Hindu goddess of wealth, Lakshmi, The lights and lamps are said to help Lakshmi find her way into people's homes, bringing prosperity year in and year out. Rangoli is a popular Diwali tradition. Beautiful patterns made using colorful powders and flowers. People draw rangoli on the floor by the entrance of their homes to welcome the gods and bring good luck. Because Diwali is celebrated by a diverse range of people with their own faith, backgrounds, and cultural traditions, many people celebrate the holiday in their own unique way. The city of Leicester in the United Kingdom holds the largest Diwali celebration outside of India. Every year, tens of thousands of people gather in the streets to enjoy vibrant shows of light, music, and dance. This celebration is normally one that brings forth a time for family, performing arts, fireworks, celebrations, deep cleaning and decorating, welcoming in the new year. It is a celebration of light. The light that is within you is the divine light that protects you.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Happy Diwali. And thank you, Gino, for that wonderful video, little overview of Diwali. So you'll notice it's this year, November 4th to 8th, so it just finished its 5 days, but we're honoring it today. And it's important to honor many traditions and to learn about faiths and festivals other than our own. Even our own founder, Ernest Holmes, said, learn about these other faiths. Don't disagree with other people's beliefs, but just embrace all, for we know we are all one. Diwali parts of it are very ancient, back to over 2,500 years ago. Those two forms of Diwali were the ones that celebrated the goddesses Lakshmi and Kali, that goddess, that black goddess that always looks so mean and terrible. She's the goddess of death and birth, but she's also the protectress. And they honored those goddesses in their celebrations. And in later years, the Jain people and some of the Buddhists celebrate individuals. There was a mathematician in the 800s who is said to have reached nirvana. He broke that cycle of life and death, that reincarnation cycle that many Buddhists talk about. And so they celebrate his enlightenment. And there's also a celebration of a guru who was imprisoned by enemies of the state. And his return and breaking free of that prison, he was also from the early millennia. So there's many different ways that Diwali is celebrated. But for the most part, Diwali is joyous. In Sikhism, in the Jainism that I mentioned, they were a little more subdued. It kind of reminds me of Kwanzaa, which will be coming up towards the end of this year, in that qualities were celebrated. Qualities like philanthropy, charity, calmness, even environmental consciousness, all qualities we can honor and take into ourselves. But for the rest, Diwali is this wild, wonderful exciting, exuberant celebration of light and life and family coming together. So Diwali is the most important holiday of the year for, especially in Hinduism, but the other religions as well. It is not only all the things already mentioned and in the slides, in the video, but it is also that time that light overcomes darkness, that good overcomes evil, and suffering, and joy over despair. Now that's a little different than some of the things that we adhere to in Science of Mind and Spirit, and I'll talk about that a little later on. So there was in a little bit of the story of Diwali with the Prince Rama, or Ram. He's the blue guy. Nope, can't see it. This comes from ancient stories in the book called Ramayana. And the story goes that Prince Rama, well, his dad was a king and remarried, and so Rama had a stepmother. And the stepmother, she was kind of like the evil stepmother in Cinderella. She connived, and she got her husband, the king, to make a decree that when he, the king, died, that her son, not the rightful heir apparent Rama, the son of the king, would rule. And the decree said that Rama would have to be banished and go away for 14 years. I don't know why 14 years. I'm not an expert in Diwali. I'm not an expert in Hinduism, but I just have a joy in sharing what I've learned in preparation for tonight. So the king does die, and Rama is banished into exile for 14 years. Now, during that time, it was not just Rama, but his wonderful wife, Sita. And he undergoes, like many in a hero's journey, he has all kinds of trials and tribulations. But through all his travails, he remains stalwart. He stayed away from the kingdom of his father because in Hindu culture, it was very important to honor your elders, even though his dad was dead. And so he stayed away. He battled the demons. He did his thing. He kept searching and searching and looking for his wife Sita. Well, he finds out that Sita had been captured by the evil demon king, a many-headed king, Ravana, who held his wife captive. Eventually, Rama finds her where she's in prison, kills the evil demon king, and rescues her. But as in many great tales of old and new, there's a twist to the plot. Sita and Rama could not immediately get together, and it was still in the 14 years. She had to first undergo a trial by fire. She had to be purified by going into fire. She did, for her love was so great for Rama and her honoring of the tradition. And there must have been the goddesses looking over her, for she survived. And she and Rama get back together, and in triumph they march back to their city. And Rama takes his rightful place on the throne as the ruling king. Now, I don't know why the brother-in-law, the stepbrother, didn't fight this. But it's said that he graciously abdicated to Rama. So, interesting story. But what is important to the people who recognize Diwali is that honoring of family tradition. And even in Christendom, we have honor thy father and mother. It was the honoring of your commitments and honoring of each other. So in the tradition of Diwali, the 5 days, there's different themes over the 5 days. And I'll get back to Rama and Sita in just a moment. So the first day of Diwali is everybody cleans their house thoroughly from top to bottom. We do that too, right? Our holidays or if guests come in, clean it out. And it also is so that you can welcome in prosperity. I just led a class on uncluttering everything. So by getting rid of stuff, cleaning up, you make room for the good to flow in. That's the first day. On the second day, decorating. Again, that kind of aspect of holidays is shared the world around in many, many holidays. And the video already talked about 2 special decorations that are very unique. The little open clay oil lamps that have a wick, and they're often used to line the pathways up to the house. So that's why here in where we're here today, we have the chairs lined up to kind of make an entryway. Their light chases away evil spirits and welcomes in guests and Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and goodness and good. And the, I'm gonna get it, say it right, the rangoli, those beautiful circular patterns. And they do them right on the floor, with the rice and the flowers. So they're temporary. Now they can make paper ones and painted ones too. But all this beauty. So it's all about love and good luck. So day 3 is the big wazoo. It's the day of celebration. People go also to temples and have ritual puja. They worship the goddesses. A table, an altar-like table, is set with a red cloth. Maybe a representation of the goddess is put there. And of course, food. There are the fruits of the tropics, chestnuts and pomegranates, quince and coconut. Sounds yummy, right? And sweets. Oh, do the Indian people love their sweets. And we have some for you afterwards to try. So all is offerings, and to represent abundance and goodness. All the windows and all the houses are opened to let in the spirit of Lakshmi, that goddess of wealth and goodness. You saw in the video the firecrackers and the sparklers. Their noise and their light is to scare away the evil spirits. And we've done all this work to let in the good, so we don't want the evil spirits to creep back in. And of course, family and friends get together to feast and to exchange gifts. And each greet each other saying, Happy Diwali! Now, you may notice that it's spelled with a W in the middle, but it's pronounced kind of a soft VW, Diwali. Day 4. That's just day 3. Are you tired yet? What if your relatives came over and stayed? Well, maybe they do. Stay for a week or 2. This is 5 days. So day 4 is dedicated to the love between lovers, partners, husband and wives, just as Rama and Sita were dedicated to one another, and husbands and wives share special gifts for one another. And finally, on day 5 of the celebration is dedicated to the bond between brother and sister, and they too share gifts honoring one another. So it's all about, well, not all, but it's so much about family as well as the light. Now, I had a little fun getting ready for this tonight. And how many of you have seen Bollywood dances or seen Indian dance on the television screen? And you know that the hands and the motions are all symbolic. So I'm going to share with you 3 movements that we can try together. And if you have little ones at home or you teach, you can share it with them. And it has to do with 3 of the gifts, the main symbols in Diwali. And the first is the fireworks. So you spread your fingers wide like that burst, and they go up and they burst open and come back down. That's the fireworks. And the fireworks, they spread your fingers, and those things that go and they burst open and then they come back down. So you can do that as many times as you have in the music. So that's the fireworks. And then there's the flowers. Color and flowers are everywhere and put everywhere in the beautiful colors of India, those bright, vibrant colors. So this one's a little more challenging. So you bring the heels of your hands together with your fingers apart at first. Touch your pinkies together if you can. Touch your thumbs together. And it makes kind of a cup or a basket. That's like a lotus or a flower. And you don't keep all the gifts and goods to yourself. You share it with the people over here, and you share it with your brother and sister over there, and you share it with your neighbors, and you share the flower out there. And it's shared. The beauty, the light and love is shared. Beautiful. You're sharing with each other. And the third motion has to do with those sweets. I tell you, the sweets come up a lot. So we have 2 platters of sweets. So you put your palms up, and just like the flowers, you offer the sweets to the people over here, and you offer some over there, and we offer some to you in Cyberland, and we offer because there's abundant goodness everywhere. Abundance. So putting them all together, there is the hands going up as fireworks. There are the flowers the beauty that we share with one another. And there are the platters of the sweets. I think I'll take a bite. So thank you. The folks here in the front row are marvelous participating along. So dance is also music and dance and the joyous movements. So in our belief system here in Science of Mind and Spirit, we share a lot of this stuff, right? Family, the sharing of food, the light, the love, decorating with color. And as Gino said in the slide, we are all one family. We're all one. And we all strive for a joyful life. But there are differences. And it's important to know how your beliefs might differ. Again, not to put down anybody else's belief, but know what you believe. So in Science of Mind and Spirit, we honor people for their teachings, for their virtuousness. I was going to say virtuosity, maybe that too. But we do not worship as Rama was worshipped or as Lakshmi. That's something a bit different for us. We don't acknowledge the existence of darkness or suffering or evil. That is, they're not things. You might be going, huh? You know, it's dark out right now here in San Diego. There's all kinds of atrocities on the news, on TV, and the media all the time. How can those not be? Well, here's where the teaching is. We say that the divine is all things. And you may have heard the phrase, God is good, good is God. So God cannot know darkness or evil. The only way that comes in is that we have free will. And we kind of start doubting. Did you ever have a day when you're just like, oh, you know, I'm promised this new job that's coming up. I interviewed. I think I've got this new job, or they promised it to me, but I just know something's going to happen, and I'm not going to get it. And you start spinning down and down and down within that doubt. And we might manifest it. We might make it come true, at least circumstantially. But the ultimate truth is the light and the good of the divine. And as our awareness evolves about this truth, the circumstances around ourselves evolve and move toward more and more and more good and evolving. And that we call enlightenment, right? When we just know good all the time. So that reminds me, I heard about a spiritual teacher who was walking and the students were following along with them. And every time the teacher would stop, the followers would stop. And every time the teacher would look up or do something, all the followers would do the same thing. Now, a friend of the teacher, a long time, was kind of watching this from across the street. So he walked up to his old friend, the teacher, and kind of pulled him aside and quietly asked, he said, "What's going on here? Why are they following you? What's going on?" And he says, "Oh, well, the teacher says, I've become a spiritual leader, and these are spiritual seekers. They're seeking enlightenment." A friend thought for a moment and said, "But how do you know when they're enlightened?" And the teacher says, "Oh, that's easy. I count every morning who's here, and the ones that have left are enlightened. They're the ones who don't need the outside teacher, don't need the dogma and teachings of the outer world, but know the truth inside for themselves." And that's one aspect of light. So what does having a spiritual light or enlightenment in your life mean? I mean, after all, Diwali is about the Festival of Lights, enlightenment, and good. Does anybody want to share what maybe having spiritual light means for them? Having an epiphany? I'm kind of putting people on the spot here. That's all right. Yeah.
So on the way over here, I'm not used to driving at night with the time change, and there was a lot.
And I'm going to repeat what you said.
But once I settled on to the drive in the freeway, and I turned on music on the radio, I put the jazz station on, and I just settled into the music, and it was trumpeted, and I just completely let myself feel peace and well-being, and just knew I'd get here and find a spot to park and all that.
So just to thank you. So just to repeat, driving here at night in the dark and in the traffic, and to kind of ease, turn on some jazz music, a nice trumpet, and just eased into that and found a parking space and just let it go. So letting go, knowing to surrender, stretch. The Buddhists say, our attachments are what causes suffering in this world. So beautiful example of that. So we might have also epiphanies, a shining truth, and it could be big or small. So thank you for sharing that. This thing of light, there is a thing that's light. Science tells us there's photons, traveling at the speed of light across the cosmos. It's a wave, it's a particle, it's fast, it's amazing. The visual spectrum of light we can see with our eyes, but there's other energies and vibrations out there. And all of that, the photons, the light, that energy, it's in space and time, space-time. But here's the thing. Light with a capital L, spiritual light, is beyond space and time. It's a non-substance. How can that be? That's something so challenging for beginners on spiritual path to think about. The light represents the all that is, the divine, God, the creator. And from that non-substance beingness, existence, consciousness, all things came forth. And our light is a piece of that. We channel that light, or can, if our consciousness and our hearts open up to that. Ernest Holmes, again, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, kind of paraphrased the beginning of the Bible. In Genesis, in the beginning was, here's what Holmes wrote. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was life, and the Word was light. And the light of consciousness dawned, and we beheld the light and walked in it, and the light was all. Isn't that beautiful? Light as consciousness, as the thought of the divine, as the word of the divine. God doesn't have a mouth, so we don't literally believe God. There was a sound coming through the cosmos. Well, there wouldn't have been anything in there for the sound to vibrate in anyway. The light. So wow, God's word or consciousness is the fundamental essence from which all things come. Plants, minerals, animals, humans. It's the center, the light, is the center of everything and everyone. And as we learn to flow in that light, says Holmes, we live a harmonious life. So God said, let there be light, and God saw that the light was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Uh-oh. Rev Sherry, didn't you just say there's no darkness, so how can there be this parting of light and darkness? Again, darkness is not a thing. It's just an example of the light shining into the void. Maybe think of a candle in a dark room. You have a dark room, and whether you light a single match or a candle, that little bit of light really dispels a lot of the darkness. You get more candles, more light, the darkness goes away. The darkness is not a thing unto itself. It's the absence of light. The same with evil or anything that has a dense energy or a negative or a heaviness to it. It's not a thing. It's an absence of light, of goodness. And I think we love the light, or I know I love the light so much, because at the deepest level, you and I recognize that we are all light. At our spiritual level, at our core level, we are light. Like just think about when you look at a baby or maybe a kitten, some little thing, you just feel all warm and good vibes inside. I was going to say all warm and fuzzy, but that's the kitten. You feel that warmth inside. That's our soul recognizing that we are one, the same as that thing or that person or that animal. Light to light. Namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you and you and you. So being aware of this truth, of this oneness, of what we really are and the unity of all makes us happy. So no wonder there's so many festivals honoring light and being joyous and upbeat. But we needn't do that just one time a year, a holiday time. You know, it's usually this time as we're going to solstice. The nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter, there's a lot of darkness. We can work at seeing the light outside of us and all around us, and seeing and being the light within us. We are the light, like the song we opened it. I am the light of this world. We're all lights. And we can affirm that. And you know what I learned recently? Knock-knock jokes can be an affirmation. You want to play with me? So you know how it goes. Knock, knock, who's there? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I'm a
who?
I'm a divine universal light. Da-dum-bum. So you can do that with the kids, or just if you want to light and bring a smile to your face. I didn't make that up. It's actually by Scott Aubrey. I found that online. So we share the light. We be that light and our compassion through our loving kindness. I know everybody, I know this community does that pretty well and knows about doing that. So let your light shine. There's another aspect of light, and this is kind of revolutionary that Ernest Holmes talks about. Light is healing. So we've got light that's the divine, we've got the light that's in us, we've got the light that's the substance of all things. But light is also a healing, I don't want to say tool, I don't know what word I want to say. It's healing. So we can heal body and mind and spirit. You know, Jesus said, you are the light of the world. So don't hide your light under a bushel. Don't hide it under a basket or a bush. Let your light shine. You know, there's times, especially this time of year, when people are depressed. Seasonal affective disorder. Again, with that more darkness being around. There's lots to do, there's lots of stress. And what does a doctor often prescribe? Light therapy. You know, setting lights on your bedroom, some even that are more naturopath bent, colored light. Lasers also are used in surgery. Lasers can cauterize wounds. That form of light can be used to heal. The spiritual light can use to heal our minds of the when we feel separate. I know, I went through a downtime in my life when I'd been involved in spiritual communities and churches all my life, and for about 5 years I just kind of questioned everything and just went, no, I just wasn't feeling the divine, and I was feeling pretty low. And then a friend introduced me to this center, and I started to hear words and languaging and feel love and see light like I hadn't seen in a long time. And that healed my heart. It healed my mind of the idea that, I'm not worthy. God's out there somewhere, and God doesn't want to have anything to do with me. It was a healing. And I know that for many people, it can be a healing too. The light of the Spirit talked about, it's in us all, it's a unity. And when we catch glimpses of it, like a beautiful sunset or sunrise, we feel that energy. We can be transfixed by it and transformed and transcended. So, I love the light. Don't you? You know, in this time of year, it's especially at night, it's all over. There's the candles, like on the stage here. There's the strung lights of the holidays. There's even the aurora borealis. There's campfires, lighthouse beams, all of it. All of them are wonderful symbols that the light is all around. Heck, even an oven light, lets me see what I'm cooking without burning it. Light can be a wonderful thing. So I have an acronym, a memory device to help remember about the light. And we take each of the 5 letters of light and assign a quality or an idea to it. So the first letter, L, simple. It's love. Love, light and love. The second letter in light is the letter I. I am. I am part of the greater I am. Those famous words spoken in the Old Testament when Moses asked God, well, who are you? I am. I'm all existence. So I am, and I'm one with the absolute God. There's no separation. L and I. The third letter, G, God. Or whatever word you want to use, but I picked G because it fits in the word light. It's that light that's the source of everything and the substance of everything. Now here's something a little different. The fourth letter, H. It has to do with how we interact with one another. H, we hear, we help, and we heal. We hear others when we have that light, when we have that love, that compassion in us. We really hear them. We help one another with loving kindness, with compassion. And we help heal. Through the listening, through the helping, we help heal the hearts. And there's so many broken hearts in this world right now that need help. And the fifth letter is T. The fifth letter type. Thanksgiving. Gratitude just naturally flows when you allow the light into your life and see the divine light in all things. We become agents of light, or you may have heard the phrase light workers. And that's cause for celebration. Happy Diwali. That's part 2. Do we have a reading slide, a quote slide, Gino? Okay. I invite us to go into an experiential time of the light. And I'm going to sit down. And lead us in a guided tour of the imagination of light. And just before I do, Ernest Holmes was influenced by several people a lot. And one of them was Thomas Troward. And Ernest Holmes said, he just read a lot of him. And Troward said that there are 7 properties of God. Light, there's the light. Life, love, peace, power, beauty, and joy. And Troward believed that by meditating on words such as these and the properties of those, that we would live a spirit-filled life. So I'm going to invite all who are here, who are watching, to join me in focusing on light for this evening. And if you haven't experienced guided imagery before, don't worry, you can relax and feel safe. I just be inviting you to just engage your imagination. I'm not going to be forcing you to think or do or be anything for this brief contemplation. So let us just relax. For it is in relaxing our minds and our muscles, our bodies, that our imagination, our subconscious, that part of us that gets in touch with the deep to the deep, comes forth. So relax your muscles in your shoulders, your hands, your legs and feet. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your eyes. And then we'll take 3 breaths, because the breath also allows us to relax. So take a breath in and release it. And take another breath in and release. And a third breath at your own pace. And maybe just a little softer on the background sound. You are safe. There's nothing to do. Just be here, listening with expectancy. Maybe down just a little bit more. I invite you to picture yourself sitting in a darkened room. Not a threatening or scary room, just one that is void of light for the moment. There's an emptiness, a spaciousness. And all is quiet and calm. Just imagine yourself in the peace of that room. And shortly, a small orb of light floats towards you. It comes toward you, and you feel unconditional love from this orb of light. It comes and floats in front of you. And without saying anything, you know it is inviting you to merge with it, to allow it in and to merge with you. And so you do. And as you let that light in, you feel expanded and full of love and wisdom. And as you expand, you become aware that now the dark room has become filled with that beautiful light, the same light of that orb. At first the light is bright, but then your vision adjusts. And the walls of the room melt away, and you can see the neighborhood outside. In your mind, you get up and walk outside. There is peace in the air. There's people clothed in bright colors, and they warmly greet you and each other with big smiles. Everyone seems happy and at peace. You see a person give a small stray dog some food and water. You notice another person helping an elderly person carry their groceries. All is peaceful and harmonious. You walk by a beautiful green park and decide to rest under a large shade tree. You sit down and just rest your back against its firm trunk. You relax and rest. And your eyes become heavy, but before they close, you once again see the orb of light. This time, you hear it. You think you hear it saying something to you. At first, you can't make it out. You take a few deep breaths and listen for the voice. Now you start to hear it. You can hear the voice clearly. And strongly it declares, I am the light that has always been. I created you, and I love you always. I have poured myself into the very essence of you. Know that I am ever with you. You nod your head in agreement and understanding. This feels so true and so good. The voice then asks a simple but profound question. How will you be my light shining out in the world? How will you be my light shining in the world? In the stillness, you take a moment now to contemplate this question. You open your heart and mind to this loving light. After a time, you begin to discover an answer to the question. It may become crystal clear, or it might be just a glimmer, and that's okay. Have confidence that the expression of your inner light will evolve, and it will manifest. Take a moment to feel gratitude for the guidance of the light. Know that you can call upon this wisdom anytime by being still and feeling its presence. Now you no longer, for the time being, see or hear the orb of light, but you can still feel its loving presence within you. Take a moment more to feel that love. With a smile, you gently stretch and open your physical eyes now to rejoin us in this space. So I invite you to take what you may have learned from tonight in this meditation into your experience and strive to be that light, to love through your actions, to make a commitment to see the light of spirit in all things, each and every day, as often as you can. Is Gino? Yes. We have announcements. And conscious giving.
Thank you, Reverend Sherry. Oh, I think I'm not on. 1 second. Forgot to turn me on. Thank you. Thank you all for being here, for sharing in this divine love and light. It is our conscious giving time right now. Let's see, is my technology working? There we go. So, okay. I don't think it is. So, Universal Spirit Center, we want to thank you for being a part of this evening, for bringing your consciousness, for bringing your presence. It is always a joy to see your beautiful faces and know that at Universal Spirit Center, we're a global community and we reach out and support so many different other communities as well, because we believe that the world works together for the good of all. And so through that, our tithes and gifts that the congregation gives, we share and send that out. So I thank you for being here. I thank our community always for being and doing all that you do. It is an absolute joy. I love technology, but sometimes, let's see here.
Let's send it some light.
Let's see. All right. So let's see here. Let's see if we can share what's happening in the center right now. The movie of the month. There we go. The movie of the month is called Disclosure. Our racial equality project. We are focused on equality for all. And so not only do we have actions throughout the month, but we also have a movie of the month every third Friday, and this coming Friday it's called Disclosure, and it's about the transgender world and how the inequality affects in so many different ways. We come together, we have popcorn, jujubes, and all that good stuff, and then we unpack it. We talk about it. And that being said, our REP call to action, racial bias of recovery. There is a TEDx talk that if you go to our webpage, you can go and check that out. And then also next Wednesday, Kitchen Conversations, we're going to have 2 women of color that have worked have been and have lived in the life of recovery to share what some of that is like. I'm really looking forward to it. We haven't had that before. Spirit in action. This Thanksgiving, we're going to Mexico again. It's an amazing opportunity if you want to cook something, if you want to drive and go, if you want to help them load up. It's a beautiful way to give back. We go there to Mexico to some of the families that have family here in the United States, but they cannot get out of unfortunately, where the border is. And so we prepare a beautiful, full Thanksgiving meal. We did it a couple of years ago before COVID in the pouring rain. I think it was over 200 people they had there. It was really beautiful, very powerful. Also, we have a little holiday shopping. I see everybody's talking about Christmas. It's already happening. I was like, we're not even doing anything on Thanksgiving. We're immediately into Christmas. And so our beloved Lorraine and Gayleen are having a little holiday shopper spree that you can buy some lovely little goodies for Christmas. And, we didn't get to celebrate last year, so this will be nice. And I think last but not least, our Feed 'em or Fun 'em, a wonderful way that we are doing a fundraiser for our community. There are a lot of different, if you go online, you can see all of the wonderful different events that are taking place. I myself am doing Super Bowl, February the 13th, right here. We're going to have the barbecue happening over there. There will be some veggie burgers, but I'm a carnivorous girl, so there'll be some chicken wings, hot dogs, and I'm a huge sports fan, so it should be a lot of fun. We'll have music, we'll be loud, we'll come together for community and have a good time. But if you go online, there are a lot of different dinners, there's hikes, there's pickleball, Sherry's doing an animal picnic.
Puppies, play, and picnic.
Puppies, play, and picnic.
A gourmet picnic.
So it's scattered throughout the year. There are a lot of different things that will be taking place this year and next year as well. I think it'll just be fun to check it out. And let's see. I think that's it. So let's see here. My music does not want to play, but let's see. Can we?
I have a benediction.
Okay.
Before or after the music?
All righty. Not wanting to let me back in there. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you have the benediction. Let's give Reverend Sherry a lot of love. I think your mic is still on.
I think it is.
And I'm going to say blessings to all. Thank you for coming out. It's nice to see people in the house. Yay! We were a little light on the crew area tonight, but thank you for coming. Don't stop. Keep coming back. It's good.
So this is a benediction on light that I found by Ernest Holmes. So I invite all of you, whether you're watching from afar or here, to just join me in knowing these words of the heart and light. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into our minds now. May the light of God illuminate our every thought. From the point of love within the heart of the divine, let love stream forth in our hearts now. May love encompass our every feeling. From the point of power within the body of God, let power stream forth from our bodies now. May divine power energize our every action. And so let the presence of love, light, and power fill our hearts, our minds, and our bodies, and establish lasting peace in our souls. Namaste. Happy Diwali, happy season of light. Bless you all. join us for refreshments. Sample